Welcome to my dungeon.
Welcome to Cauldron's Crypt. I'm your host, Master Cauldron. If you're new to the show, I use my 24 years of BDSM experience and 20 years working in the psychology field to dispel myths, get rid of stereotypes, and answer your questions about BDSM. You can call in at 865-268-4005 to leave your questions or visit the crypt at cauldronscrypt.com. On this episode of The Crypt, I'm going to hit the rules, the love by, and then I'm going to talk to you wonderful people on this YouTube live chat. Rule number 1, safe, sane, consensual, and informed, which kind of takes it into being racked, risk-aware, consensual kink. Rule number 2, kinky, that's KNKI, and comes from the Kinky app, available on all platforms. Not a sponsor, but it stands for knowledge, no intolerance, kindness, and integrity. And the quote from Mr. Paul Young, submission is not about authority, and it's not about obedience. It is all about relationships of love and respect. So we got that funness out of the way, and I wish my phone would act right. So funny, technology just will not submit. Weird. On my phone, it's still saying that it's waiting for me to join. Is the video coming through? Okay. All right, that's weird. All right, so, shoot, I've got to get the card. Uno momento, por favor. All right, so at the Munch last Sunday before last, I was presented with this card. They're like, oh, it's kind of hokey, but it was what we could find. I like it. Inside it says, thank you for all you do to educate and help us in the community. It's my pleasure. I am quite humbled and honored by what you all did for me. Roxy Bear, Misbehaving, Arden Solace, Exquisite Kitten, Mayfair, EMR, the Cheshire Cat, and Lady Aponia. Special thank you to you two. Cheshire Cat, you set this whole thing in motion. Having a maker whip was on my bucket list. So this was huge. Lady Katie, of course, you can see Lady Katie along with Vega on the bonding experience right here on YouTube. They put episodes out, I believe, every Tuesday or Sunday, or try to every Sunday. So these people, also, there were some anonymous donors and several who wanted to give after the money had been raised and the whip was already afforded and ordered. I just, when I was contacted about this taking place and this post being made, I'm like, they already do so much. They support me on Patreon, which pays for the show and then allows me to save up a little bit each month and upgrade microphones or software, save for going to DomCon, Los Angeles or New Orleans. And it was just something that I really didn't expect. So thank you so very much. And on to what you really want to see. Let me get it. I've got it right here. See if there's enough light. So this is the Econo line, and there is nothing Econo about it, really. Lovely braided handle or hanger. Beautiful knotwork. It's amazing. And then just the continued braiding. And that is tight as it could be. And still, kangaroo, just absolutely amazing. And of course, because Maker is a maker of kinky whips, that knot is the whip stops here as far as what all is braided together. And that little knot is where you put the cracker on. And that's what breaks the sound barrier. So those are changeable. You change them out with each person that you play with. These can cause micro cuts or big gashes if you don't know what you're doing. So you can cross-contaminate. And we want to play safe. So we don't want to to use the same cracker on different people. Oh, and the dryer. Hey, the clothes are clean. Yay. So this thing is absolutely phenomenal. I have used it. I gave my sub 12 lashes with it. She's not a single tail lover whatsoever, but then I used it on someone else Friday night for a cathartic scene who really gets pushed to the edge with single tail and was exactly what she was wanting. And it was a huge, huge release for both of us. And I'm going to get into that a little bit more with one of the questions that was posted. Okay, I had to click on another link to be able to see me. Okay, so it's showing that there's like 2 feeds going on YouTube, which is weird. There again, learning curve. So I don't know if Maker made it into the chat, made it to the show, but thank you so very much for making this for me. And again, for this channel, there's a fine line between pleasure and pain. Yeah, there is a fine line between pleasure and pain, the divinals. Good stuff. All right. So let's hit your questions. And I should have that ready right here. So there were several whip questions, and I will answer those as best as I can. Baby loving sir. I know nothing about whips, so these questions are totally newbie. How can you use a whip in a more soft, sensual way? Very carefully. Instead of cracking it, as you saw here, there is this, when you first put it on, is a little rigid. It starts to fray out and get a little fluffy. I like to pre-fluff mine sometimes, depending on who I'm playing with. And you can use those as a very light brushing sensation, but it's going to be very light. The feeling from this really comes with the stingy feeling as far as how I play. Other people, I'm sure they can make it very sensual. There was a big joke Friday night about, I don't know how to be soft and gentle. With some things, that is actually kind of true. I can be soft and as gentle as I can be with this thing. But when I get this out, it is for stingy, owie pain. Which may be the reason why Mayfair doesn't, why that's a hard limit for her, unless she has a hoodie on, and it still leaves marks through the hoodie. But you can, sometimes I'll do like some sensual wrapping with a single tail like this, and that it is not a whipping motion at all. That is more for in fact, a lot of times I've got a leather one that Whipping Stripes made that I broke it. I messed it up, and she's going to fix it for me. But I don't put a cracker on it. It's just the leather, and I can take it and gently kind of wrap people with it. And I mean gently. And it will, especially if they're a fan of leather or a leather fetishist, having that leather wrap around their body will just be a really nice sensual sensation to them. I actually enjoy that myself because I love leather. I love the feel of it, the smell of it. Oh, God, the smell of it is amazing. So, yeah, there's that question. How to use it in a more intense way? Well, this is one of the implements that I tell people when they're first getting started, unless they've got a lot of time to devote to it. This is probably going to be one of the last implements for impact play that they learn. The devotion to the single tail is critical. Practice, 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 and then practice and practice and practice some more. You can seriously injure someone with it. So as far as how to use it more intense, it's kind of the nature of the beast with this thing for it to be a very intense toy, depending on, again, who is wielding it. I prefer typically to wield it in an intense manner. And that is my nature and the nature of those that I play with. How can you use it for mind freaks we'll call it. There are so many things that you can do. A lot of them I am apprehensive about talking about on YouTube, but they're just, for one, the crack of the whip is enough to really get to most people. I've seen with some very, very seasoned people, and they still jump when that whip cracks. And if you really want to, screw with somebody's mind, like Mayfair, where it's a hard limit, but she's gotten used to the sound of the whip cracking to the point where it typically doesn't make her crawl out of her skin so bad. Randomly throughout a scene, I will grab one and I will crack it very close to her. And it still gets that jump going because, I say it's a hard limit for her. I consider it a hard limit, though it's one of those tricky areas where, if I really wanted to, I could use it on her. She would have let me, but I know how much she hates it. So that's just not going to happen. But that puts that, okay, he's more declared that a hard limit than I have. So is he actually going to use that on me? And that's kind of the thing with a lot of people. You can play with people. Whips can be used as wonderful choking implements, though I don't recommend carelessness with it because especially a brand new one this short, 3 feet long, wrapping it around somebody like up close to the handle, that's hard. You could hit them in the wrong place, cause injury or even death. So I don't really recommend that. It could be done if you're careful, you know exactly what you're doing. And there is a right and wrong way to choke people. It's one of the most dangerous things that we can do in what we do. What's the learning curve for you on mastering this whip? The learning curve for me personally on mastering this whip, every whip has its own personality. It has been my experience. And within a certain whip maker, they're going to be similar sometimes not, depending on the quality that the whip maker makes. In this case, this is, like I said, this was a bucket list item. So I consider his work to be absolute high-end quality. Sir Mutual Respect, one of my best friends, a brother, a supporter of the show. He has a maker whip, UT Master. He has several maker whips and is the one that points a lot of members of our community in the direction of maker. And he is one of the best I've ever seen at using the single tail. So for him to put it in such high regard, but to get back to the question and stop rambling, the learning curve for me on this is not going to be that great. Like I said, I've already used it. I've been playing with it, been practicing with it, and it still has some time to break in, as all brand new whips do. There is some break-in time. But yeah, it's great. I'm loving it. All right. Next question. What is your favorite way to use it? Well, let me change my screen here so I can see if I'm still on camera. I typically go at an angle when I use single tail, a chop, or side to side. So I'm in a very confined space. So it is pretty difficult for me to do that and to get it right. On TeePublic, I do have pillows available. These are highly comfortable, and it's a zipper case. You can take that off and throw it in the wash. Anyway. All right. So, yeah, there's that. Perfect for kneeling. Yeah, I love the fact that it's 3 feet. I think my other ones are, I want to say 6 feet long, And I usually end up rolling them at the handle, which they're snake whips as well. Or they've got there's no firm grip handle here on my other ones as well. So they're not like a bull whip. So I'm not going to do it with this one, but basically I'll just roll them over to take up some of that extra space because I do tend to play in some tight areas. So I'll do it like that. You're welcome. Did everyone make it over here? I don't think everyone has made it over here. All right. If you go to the main Cauldron page, there's two. Oh, I've seen this on other YouTube. You may need to start over, but no one is left there waiting. Okay, good. Yeah. Thank you guys. As always, you're being so helpful. Like 2 video places. Huh. Weird. Oh, the pillow. Yes, the pillow would be good for kneeling. I gotcha. And there's a huge one too. They come in different sizes. We keep one on the bed that is, I think it's like 5 feet by 5 feet. It's huge. Maybe 4, but I think it's 5. Anyway, let me see if there was any more whip questions going on here. I hope it didn't close us out again. Favorite features on this specific whip, or why is it specific from this maker? And on FetLife, it is _maker, MAKER _. My favorite feature is the entire thing. I mean, the quality is just, it's amazing. I mean, from the braid of this handle or hanger to the braiding and the knot and the transition from this checkerboard or diamond down to, I don't even know what this is called, is phenomenal. So, yeah, I mean, what is my favorite feature of this? Well, so far, it's been the painful pleasure that it's caused other people. Oh, no, I can't pick just one single feature of it. It's going to last me a long, long, long time. So let me see. I think that was it. Would like to hear the sound of the whip. I don't know if you heard it cracking earlier while I was standing up or not. I hope so. Like I said, this is my studio for podcasting, my music room, my tools. I have a medicine cart over here from the hospital I used to work at. It has a bunch of tools in it. And right now there's a lot of transitioning with the house that's going on. So we just haven't had time with wifey being in school and me dealing with the job that I have. So, all right. Well, let's see. Oh, kind of wanted to show this off too, so I'm going to. That is my certificate of appreciation from DomCon New Orleans for being an industry-only supporter. So those that missed things, let me thank you again. All right. Roxy Bear, Ms. Behaven, Arden Solace, Exquisite Kitten, Mayfair 85, EMR, the Cheshire Cat, Lady Aponia, and Lady Katie. There were also anonymous donors and several who wanted to give after the money had been raised. So that's where we are. All right. So if you come in late, there are the list of people that came together. And I know there were more that wanted to after the fact. Then I'm, again, incredibly grateful for you guys doing this for me. It is a bucket list item, and it is a very humbling thing. Let's see. Let's get back to a question here. I'm sure once it gets rolling, many more questions will come in. One I have, and there's a story behind it. What is the strangest thing you've had happen at a munch? I really can't. Those locally know the answer to that. but out of respect for people's privacy, all I will say is that the police showed up. And I wouldn't say that's all that strange. And I can't wait. Valencia 19. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Mayfair. Handcuffs. We were at a munch at Hot Rods. It's a 50s diner here locally. And I went into the restroom, and there were 2 pairs of handcuffs, play handcuffs, hanging on I don't know the politically correct way to describe what it was hanging on anymore, so I'm just going to say the handicap rail. That's all I know it as. I don't know if it's supposed to be called the handy-capable rail now or what, but the metal bar that's mounted to the wall that helps you sit down and stand up on the toilet if you need help. That was freaking hilarious because no one in our group put them there. I have pictures of that on my phone still. I need to post those on FetLife. It was awesome. Oh my God, that was so funny. Let's see. There was another question here. Riddle me this. Lady Chaos. And a quick backstory on this. We don't live in the same place. She ended up at DomCon, knew I was going. She's come up here a couple times. She's become a good friend of mine. And so she went to DomCon and we met there and we played. Says, riddle me new, but I've been curious about this for a bit. Does playing do the same release for the top as the bottom sometimes, and how does it work? Because there are 2 completely different things. Like for me, it felt like walls I've put up were literally knocked over. It was like if you knocked over a physical wall in a way. For a few days after, my walls were still down and I got to just relax and not be stressed. It was almost like physical representation that led to it, if that makes any sense at all. Absolutely, it does. Which got me wondering what it does for the top. From listening and talking, I've got the impression that a lot of times the emotional release is tied to the physical act representing the emotional release. So how does that work for the top? Sorry, it's hard to explain what I'm asking. No, you did a wonderfully beautiful job of, Buffalo Dom 84 has joined. Hey, buddy, it's been a long time, man. I hope you're doing well. But no, you worded this the way that most people that experience their first really impactful scene, emotionally impactful scene, a cathartic scene, you worded it where it definitely makes sense. So let me back up. Does playing do the same release for the top as the bottom sometimes? No, it's not the same release. It can be a release. There is a flow of energy, if you want to say that passes back and forth, but there is definitely a difference. Now, I have personally never been able to properly explain exactly what I'm feeling when I top, especially for a cathartic scene. It is emotional. It is a release. It can be very, very euphoric, but it is different than being the bottom. So, yeah. And that's my experience. Other people, I'm sure, have very different experiences. Feels like walls I put up were literally knocked over. That is a beautiful, beautiful thing. I think that was kind of the goal that we went into it with, other than just having you conquer playing in public itself. So Lily Chaos in the chat, whose question this is, says, so you can't word. That is correct. I can't really word it. But yeah, there is something there, but it's different. And I know that because I started, as all of you know, that's been around for a while, the cryptors. I started as a switch, so I've experienced this before. And then every so often with the belting on my back, I do that for that cathartic release. And sometimes when I'm topping somebody in a cathartic manner, it gets almost to that point for me as the top. There's definitely that euphoria there, but it's not. It's kind of like, I guess, smoking something really good that gets you that feeling. So you get high from it. You get really freaking high from it. Where I do, but it doesn't have that breakthrough. So yeah, I think that's about the best way that I can explain that for myself. And yeah, there's some typos in there. So that is going to wrap up all the questions that were there. So it's more of just the high part. Yeah. It's just more the feeling of being high. And sometimes after a long work week, I mean, that high and that ability, you said in the one that in the text that you sent me about this, that you were finally able to relax and, for 3 or 4 days, whatever it was. And, that's what it is for me. It's getting that stress out and things like that, but it is different. It's not just getting that stress out. But okay, was recently laid off from my company, but got married in July to Toy Sub Little on our 10-year anniversary. Dude, congratulations on those nuptials. After 10 years, I think you've proven to each other. Shy Bean. I love that name. I'm interested in wax play and I'm buying my first play waxes soon. I know to drop from high heights to start and keep it at a consistent temp, but any other safety you recommend? Yes. I know you said you're buying your first play waxes soon. Make sure that you're getting the low melting point candles. And I typically recommend, because I like supporting local vendors, if you have a local vendor that sells them and you can afford it, grab them from them. Something else that I would recommend, Mayfair. What brand of wax warmer do we have? There's a paraffin wax warmer for doing. I'm buying them from a reputable person from local dungeon who makes his own in jar format. Awesome. You're already ahead of the curve. Just practice fire safety. I know that the point is keeping the fire in the candle, dumping the wax on or dripping the wax on the person, but make sure that you have a fire extinguisher right there close by, because you never know. I had a fan going in a room one time and a piece of a paper towel fell into a candle. It was right beside me. I didn't even notice. The fan just blew it in there. I mean, it was just, like literally that much, but it blew across the top. It was a jar candle, blew across top, caught on fire, and blew right around to the person sitting right beside them, up against their arm. I didn't even know it was burning, and it was right in front of me. If they had been laying on a towel or something other than the massage table, it would have burnt them, or it would have, caught it on fire more than likely. So it did burn the person, burnt their arm. So be careful, pay attention. You think, well, it's just wax, not a big deal, but paraffin wax works. One of the things that we love to do is use this paraffin wax works. It takes about 45 minutes to heat it up. Put it on preheat, let it heat up, and then put it on warm. Make sure it cools down first before you start applying it to a person. It's on Amazon, but you use wide paint brushes. You dip your wax out into a measuring cup or something, a bowl of some sort. Just take a ladle some out, take your paintbrush, and then you can paint it on a person. We love doing that. Then you can do one coat, then do some drip wax with the candles, do another coat, and you can make it really pretty. One thing that I will definitely recommend is go to a class. This person that makes these candles is probably going to be a really good teacher. I prefer to put down oil on someone before I put the wax on them to help it come off a little bit easier, especially if they've got a little bit of peach fuzz or something like that. And just about everybody does. So depending on where you're putting it, just be cautious. We get into our heads and into the play, and then that's when the mistakes happen. I make my own candles for wax play. I usually use soy, but have been looking at different other wax. Cool. That's Tim there in the chat. It is tons of fun. It's very relaxing. Yeah. Lady Catherine, my wife, piping in there saying, oh, it is. And it truly is. Though I personally hate it, done on me. It just burns me. I can't deal with it. I'm just going to add that to my list. Yeah, Lily, that's a good idea. Add that to your list. Any other questions people have? Yeah, knife play. And I took my knife out of my pocket. It's been at the top of my kink playlist for ages. It's a good time. It really is. What were the strippy things? I'm not sure what the strippy things are. Oh, yes, there is definitely such a thing called fear play. Oh, are you talking about flash cotton? Yeah. Flash cotton is fun. That's fire play, though. That's not wax. Flash cotton is fun. Sort Out the Kinks is on here in the chat room, and I wish I had a way to pop her into the video because she and I are going to talk about in depth our fear play on an episode. Fear play, there are so many things that go along with it. Night of Fun Wax, fire cupping, flash cotton. Woman, you would be absolutely curled up, passed out with a smile on your face if you had wax and fire cupping and flash cotton all in one night. Fear play is, in my humble opinion, not for most newbies. It is a type of edge play. And, when I say edge, I don't mean knife play. I mean on the edge of what is safe and sane. The last time that myself and Sort Out the Kinks played, there were two very distinct times where she didn't know if she was going to make it out of the room alive. And it was very, very difficult in those moments on her. But that was the game that we play. And it's a lot of fun. But if you are not willing to fix it after you break it, then you better not be playing around with it. And you're going to break yourself too. That's one of the things that really affects a person's mind, because I have to put myself into a role that is going to be believable, basically. And I'm believable in that role to the point where I believe it myself. There's some grasping going on there at times of I have to catch myself. This is going very far. And where is that line? Because we're already way past the line of being sane and really being safe. So where exactly is that line of chopping it just before it gets to the extreme? And by extreme, I mean the extreme where injury is inevitable. Because the whole time, injury is absolutely very possible, but getting it to that point where it is inevitable, I don't want to be there. I don't want to harm anyone. And that's why I say that fear play typically is not for newbies, because you don't know exactly where you're at. Maybe, and yes, I'm going to be an ageist here. maybe the older newbies that have maturity and life experience. Yeah, God, I'm going to get emails and hate mail and hate fet mail about that. But, a lot of the 18, 21, 25-year-olds, you're not ready for it. Typically. I'm not saying everybody, but typically it's a bad idea. Let yourself get some experience first, a couple of years at least. I mean, sort out the kinks. She's young, but she has been in kink and in a community for a while, and she's got some experience. So I'm certainly not saying that just because you're young, you can't do it. I'm saying get that experience first. I don't know. He wouldn't like to have to scrape me off the table. If you're talking about doing, Lady Catherine, if you're talking about doing the wax and the fire play and all of it at the same time, yeah, I wouldn't mind scraping you off the table. It'd be fun. Would love to learn fire cupping. Yeah, go to a class, check out fire cupping. Fire cupping is one of the things that I'm just doing a lot of now. It seems to be the flavor of the month kind of thing. And the wish sets that you can get at the suction cups, those actually work. I've got one of those. They actually work well as far as getting that sensation of the cup. Of course, you're not going to get the heat with it, but if you put down a little oil on somebody, and I mean just a little bit, so that you can slide those around, just like you can slide the fire cups around. You don't really have to worry about hurting somebody. Do wash them when you get them. If you order them, well, I don't care who you order them from. Wash them before you use them and feel the edges real careful. There was 2 of them out of the, I want to say 18 cup set or something like that I got, where the edges were really rough. And if I would have put those on somebody and then twisted it to be able to slide it, it would have sliced them open. So be very careful there. I worry more about my mental health with BDSM than I do my physical health, because you can't tangibly see the scars. No kidding. The fact that you worry more about your mental health than your physical health shows just how committed you are to safety, really, or self-safety, because that is the most important part, personally, but I come from a psychology background, so of course I would say that. I like the idea of fear play because of reasons. Yeah, most people that are into fear play are into it for very specific reasons. And so it helps to deal with issues. It's, a lot of fear play gets into consensual non-consent. When you think of those extreme fear plays, what I was talking about earlier, I don't know if you heard me or not, but when I was talking about using a whip for mind freakery and cracking a whip behind Mayfair while we're playing, or anybody else that is jumpy, as a little mind game with them. Those might have been fun, the slicing ones. I'm not sure what that's about. Trying to look at, I've got several different sources for messages coming in as far as questions and things. Yes, suction cups. Yeah, the fire cups we keep at Mayfair's house because that's where the play space is. And like the idea of fair play for reasons. Told you. Yeah. Not sure why it capped. What capped? Not sure what you're talking about there, Alexandria. I don't know what you're talking about with the cap, but wow, totally just lost. The suction cups we keep here, and we'll use those instead. What do those feel like? The suction cups feel, it can be more intense on the suckage because you've got a pump that you're using, so you can really pull that in. With the fire play, you can really get a good suction, but it's not going to be, for me, because maybe I'm not that skilled with it, but it's not going to be as consistent or as deep of a suction. What do those feel like? Mayfair would tell you that they feel like your skin being pinched. She hates it. Like, does it hurt? Yeah, it depends on the person, I think. You also mentioned oil for wax play. What kind of oil do you use? I use either baby oil or a lavender oil, depending on the person and what they want. I've got some locally made lavender. It was given to one of us at a Christmas party. Like an octopus is attacking you, but in a good way. Sort. I can always rely on you to say something funny. It can, but in a good way. Oh my God, by the time this episode is over, I'm going to have a 5-page list. Nothing wrong with that, especially as I learn. Okay, for me, fair play is something I'm interested in because of the consent part. Yeah. Well, it's powerful. And you just take it from a psychological standpoint. If you have somebody reliving an event that they've been through and they know that they have the power to stop it, because if they say their safe word, and even though it's consensual non-consent and fear play and edge play, I still make sure that there's a safe word. And to me, that's one of the therapeutic parts of it is how far can you push yourself before you say that? How far can you allow yourself to be pushed before you say your safe word? And you have control over it. You know that reliving that trauma, this time you can say whether it stops or it goes to the end. So that gives you the opportunity to enjoy that and to move past it. I mean, it's a big thing. I tried fire cupping at Kink College and found the general fire play way more me. I could have fallen asleep. Baby loving, sir. Yeah. The relaxing part of the fire cupping and the fire play is the whole point of it, I think, unless you're a fire bug. General fire play would be something like the flash paper or mousse, lighting that up, somebody wiping it down. Friday night at the party we went to, the host of the party had a glove on that was on fire, and she's just wiping it up and down the body of the person laying on the table and just soothing them. And it looked really relaxing. I'd go up in flames, but I'm hairy. Fire cupping on her woohoo. Censored for YouTube. Yeah, that is done. Fire cupping the genitals is a thing for both men and women. 5th or 6th gift in the Dirty Santa gift exchange. Oh, okay. That is the lavender oil. That's right. That is exactly what the fear play is for me. Exactly. Having the power to stop it. Yeah. I was surprised that the cups didn't hurt going on. I think Mayfair would disagree with you on that it feels just like her skin being pinched. I was surprised. There's also fire caning and flaming tower of death. Oh, yeah. And sort out the kinks. She is a fire bug. She does all types of fire play. And she threw out one, the flaming tower of death. I am actually unfamiliar with that one. Yeah, I love that upside down smiley. Probably way down the road when I have more experience. Yeah. Fire play, it looks scary, but it's not. It's fun to me. But again, be very, very, very careful. Anytime you've got a candle lit, whatever. Knife play on your face? Basically lighting a washcloth soaked in alcohol on fire on someone's back with a towel. Oh, yeah. Yes, I remember. I've never done that. I would like some training and tutelage from Sort Out the Kinks on that flaming tower of death before I try that. Lady Catherine, are you done with your paper? The zen look you got when you said you enjoy fireplace says it all, I think. I do. I love fire. I'm a fire bug. I mean, I grew up in a scouting family. My oldest brother, I think, is 15 or 16 years older than me. So he was already an Eagle Scout when I was born. He's an overachiever. So he was 16 when he was an Eagle Scout. But I've got 3 older brothers. One of them was a Scoutmaster for years, still is, and not one of the creepy ones. But that was always my favorite part of summer camp or the camping trips was the fires. I love building those fires. I want to try it. Oh my God, I've got to go out more. I'll be the test dummy. Oh, for the flaming tower of death. Also try foot worship, which could cause some to cringe. And by some, baby love, you mean me, because you know how I am about feet. No offense to anybody out there that has a foot fetish. I have spent 30 years, literally 30 plus years, trying to figure out what it is about feet for people, why they have a foot fetish. I've heard hundreds, if not thousands, of people explain to me why they have a foot fetish, and I still don't understand it. So I have just conceded to the fact that I will more than likely never understand it, and I'm okay with that. Not my kink. I don't judge it. I've got a lot of kinks that other people are not into and can't understand, and that's fine. So, feet. I'm as done with it as I'm going to get today. Okay. Taking a break. Earned it. Yeah. Well, sort out the kink. You get the medal for steering the conversation in a fun and interesting way for the Tower of Death. All right. Well, folks, it's been an hour, a little over an hour. So I am going to go ahead and wrap this up. You can find Maker on FetLife _Maker_. He has his top quality usual line of single tails and all kinds of stuff. I don't know how far behind he is or what his ordering is like right now. So just send him a message and see what he's got going on. Then he's got this Econo line going. It's a 8-flat, 3-foot kangaroo, $165 plus $10 shipping anywhere in the continental U.S., I believe is what it says. I might be wrong about that, but I think that's what it says. So anyway, let me check the chat one last time. If anybody has any last questions, fire quickly. I could watch Lady Catherine be set on fire, says Lily Chaos. Not sure how to take that, Lily, says Lady Catherine. It's a compliment. It's been so lovely talking to you. Thank you for the advice on wax play, and I so appreciate what you do. It's helped me so much, not just with safety, but being okay, enjoying BDSM in general. Thank you so much. I'm sad to say I don't actually know Shy Bean. I don't know your FET name, or maybe that is your FET name. Send me a message on FetLife if you don't mind, and let's connect that way as well. Thank you, everybody. Why do we have to leave? It's almost time for dinner. Yeah, I forget you're an hour behind. No, we're an hour ahead. It's 4:15. You're the hour behind. It's only 3:15 there. So, now you put ahead. LOL. All right. Again, thank you to everyone. I want to make these live things. My name is different on FET, but I'll note it in the message. Awesome. Yeah, I kind of thought that maybe it was. So, what are we having? Probably this ginormous fajita that feeds like 4 or 5 people, that comes with 2 full salads and all the guacamole and sour cream and 2 cheese quesadillas and yum, a pitcher of margaritas. That is my plan. Yeah, it is good. It's got steak, chicken, chorizo, and a pork roast, a Mexican pork roast. That's phenomenal. All right. That's going to wrap us up. A special shout out to all of you. Hollywood. Welcome, buddy. Jesus, you're making me hungry. Yeah, it's got shrimp in it. I forgot the shrimp, my favorite part. I closed it out again. Anyway, all the Patreon producers, thank you so much. If you want to support the show and you're not already a Patreon producer, if you want to change things up there, increase, decrease, whatever, you can do that anytime you want. but there's links to that. It's cauldronscript.com/Patreon, I believe. Yeah, I'll make that link if it's not on there. cauldronscript.com/support. I know that one works. So thank you so very much. And I will talk to you guys very soon. This has been Master Cauldron and guests for cauldronscript.com. Unearth the truth.